Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show on a lovely Friday morning. So I have a riddle or a quiz, or I don't know. How is it possible that at 10 a.m. I'm so far behind when I've been working since 5 a.m. after working until 10 p.m. last night? And the answer is we're going to do big things, right? So yesterday when we had gotten together, I shared with you that we were creating a super duper doc for all of, because we have taken note, hey Frida, of every one of our metrics across many different spectrums and categories and everything, that we at one point down the road, being today, and this was said 6 months ago, would be able to go ahead and apply advanced algorithms to it to then be predictive going forward. And that's not to be confused with, all right, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen in 3 months by just poof. No, we do have all of the variables associated with it, right? So if, for instance, when I lose 10 pounds, more girls like me, well, then how do I know how many girls are going to like me in the future? Well, you would like to know, did I gain or lose 10 pounds, right? The point being there's certain variables that are inextricably connected in a very high correlation to the end result. That being said, we went through every one of our variables across all spectrums, across all public markets, just everything, and found, the six most important, the six most predictive variables that we have. In which case we then took an array of that against RHINOBUX and measured it to get the percentile. Then we added all those percentiles together, in which case we came up with a number, then divided the number into the number to go ahead and find out each one of those categories, what is a representation of 100% pi, because 100% being the number, right? That was then used as one of the foundational components and calculations to the algorithm I'm going to show you, which, by the way, so remember yesterday when we were talking and I was telling you that I'm a little bit behind, but not because we're just lollygagging, but because we get into things and then realize to make it super duper, it's going to be a longer process, and that I was almost done with the algorithm. I finished it at 4 p.m. yesterday, meaning everything that I wanted to get done yesterday by 4 p.m., nothing. But I do know the algorithm is perfect. I've never had such an affinity for numbers, but I'm going to show it to you. It's perfect. So what it allows us to do, and more so the thing about having some sort of semblance, some sort of predictive capacity for the future, is not only for your own comfort, but it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So if I go to someone and say, hey, listen, if we could do this, it'll equal this. Look, do you see? I could prove it. Well, now that person doesn't really have to understand what we're asking them. They just have to understand the result. Because if they understand the result and like the result while trusting that the mathematics will get to the result, then it doesn't matter what the thing is if they know the result is better than what they're putting in. So if I said to someone, if you give me $100,000 today, I'll give you $1 million next month, the person's obviously going to say, well, how are you going to do that? And verbally, I'll say, well, I'm going to do this, and then these numbers are going to equal this, and they're like, no, like that doesn't even make sense. Like, get out of here. But if I was able to show molecularly, like granularly, this equals this, and this is how it's been doing it over the last 6, then they're like, oh, I see, I understand. Okay, fine, duh. Like I have complete confidence in that outcome. And being that that individual now has complete confidence in the outcome and their focus shifts from trying to understand what you're doing to simply trusting the outcome, they're more receptive to join. In their increased level of reception, they then are the impetus for that snowball, right? Because their finances, their actions make it better for the next person, the next person, the next person, kind of like the opposite of yelling fire in a movie theater. The point being, once somebody's in motion and gets the attention of someone else, then that person, then that person, then that person, and before you know it, you have a stampede, even though people don't know where they're stampeding to, right? Like if you're in a movie theater and someone yells fire, you don't actually look for the fire. You don't say, hey, where? You just run. Because you believe the outcome and you trust the source. Now, the source may ultimately be a liar, but more times than not, your survival is going to be greatly influenced by you trusting that type of stuff, right? So that's kind of all of this. The long story short, which if I'm even able to do that, is that the algorithm's completed. I was able to complete the balance sheet in total. What I also noticed about the balance sheet is the numbers that we've always recorded, I did not realize how casual they were. And that's not to, I don't mean to over exaggerate that point, right? Like by casual, I mean 1% here and there off. So for instance, I would go ahead and do the sheets and take a look at RHINOBUX for the day. If RHINOBUX is 204, write 204 in the sheet, great. But is that the closing price? No, it's the price of RHINOBUX when I saw it. Now, what if the price was 204,779, right? It rounds up to 205. Well, I wrote 204. So the point is those little tiny things throw off a lot when you're using algorithms that are so advanced that they're able to go ahead and calculate percentiles and move them into different distributions. You want those numbers to be perfect. So I went through every single day ever traded in RHINOBUX and got the exact closing prices. Well, the volume, you probably want to know that too. Well, I did the same thing with the volume. I was like, oh my God. So I had to go through every single day and calculate the volume and put it into the sheet. Same thing with NASDAQ stock prices, because when you go ahead and copy and paste stock prices, guess what? Stocks don't trade on Saturday and Sunday. So if you copy and paste it, the data is automatically wrong. You have to go through each one and then move and then empty cells for Saturday and Sunday. You know what else stocks don't do? Trade on holidays, which means you have to correlate which days are holidays onto your calendar. So it's been a lot of fun. But like raising a child, when it's done, hopefully you did a good enough job that they're, got a Harvard scholarship. And then it all makes sense, right? And then it's like, this is what I did. And you don't remember every grueling moment, right? Like things are only important while you're thinking of them. Once you're done thinking of them, they don't matter no more, right? So that's kind of a little bit of commentary on the balance sheet that I'm going to show you. Secondarily, we went ahead and on the balance sheet, we also put commentary in each one of the cells that we believe deserves a little commentary, because again, when people look at it, they're not going to be looking at it and say, okay, let me get this Anthony on the phone. They're going to be like, what is this number? I wish someone would just tell me what it is. We did that on it as well. The algorithm, we then created a one-page doc that's fairly comprehensive. It's a little bit in the weeds, right? And then we created a version that is more understandable. So we're putting them together. Also, we did the 4-day email sequence that we're going to be promoting for next week. We sent it to all of our rhinos, along with the opportunity to have affiliate access to it. That is in your email. I sent that, I think, like 9 p.m. last night or something. So that's good. That's going to be what we now customize, personalize, and send to each one of the influencers. Also with the influencers, what I'm going to do is, hey, Mr. Jones, you're one of X amount that we're emailing. We are letting everyone know that we're emailing you. And I don't know how I'm going to phrase this, right? So it's not this, this forceful, but I believe like anything else, especially if you're an influencer, your livelihood is based on attention, right? Like people liking you, people that you're able to influence. So the only way, kind of like Sun Tzu's Art of War, the only way you could combat someone whose basic, their highest value proposition is attention, is with attention. So if I were to email every single person and say, hi, my name is Anthony, you don't know me, you don't know Rhino, but this is what we want from you, and please take the risk to do it, they're gonna say. But if we email someone to the point of, this is what we're doing, this is how many others we're emailing, this is how many people we're sharing it with, and if we don't hear back from you by Wednesday, we're going to share a suggestion that other people reach out to you as well, to go ahead and maybe our email ended up in spam. Now, of course, we're going to word that really, really nicely, but that's not a threat. This is This is what you do. This is your livelihood. You like attention, and these are all good things, right? We have a whole bunch of people that are interested in your attention, but you don't know that because you're taking a look at the one-off email and saying, hey, it's a one-off. The only way to go ahead and prove it's not a one-off is by proving it's not a one-off. So it's not threat. It's along the lines of what my mother always taught me: the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So if you have a child that's like, hey, I want peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you're like, okay, wait, and they just stay silent for 2 hours, guess what they don't get? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If you have a child that says, I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you say, okay, and they say, I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you say, okay, and they say, I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I want a peanut butter and jelly, you're like, okay, I'll get you the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, are you happy? Yeah, your son is now eating. Is the child happy? Yes, the child's being fed. But what brought you there, right? So you got to have a certain understanding of the behavioral science of it. So when I'm sharing something out loud like this, because it's completely unscripted, I don't want it to come off as, whoa, and then Anthony's I don't know if I want to be associated with that. Because anyone that knows Rhino doesn't wield weapons, right? But that said, we do understand what mobilizes people. And in the pursuit of the greater good, we are not shy to mobilize people when we know they're going to say thank you afterwards, like your drunk friend that wants to drive, and you tell them there's a girl down the hall that says if he walks around the house with his boxers, she's gonna give him a big kiss. He gives you his pants have the keys, and then he goes to sleep somewhere. The next day, what do you think he says? Do you think he says, hey man, you promised me a girl that was gonna give me a kiss, what happened? Or is he gonna say, oh my God, I'm so happy I didn't drive, thank you. Thank you. So that's Rhino. Okay, so what else do we have? So I'm gonna show you that. I have to actually get the emails out today. I've been saying that, I haven't done it. I will get them out today, at least half of them to all the various influencers, but they're going to be comprehensive. I need to go ahead and personalize them and blah, but they will go out. I also have to finish the DocuSign where I want to go ahead and allow them to know that this is official, like I'm Anthony, this is what we're proposing to you, and upon your acceptance, this is what we're prepared to do for you. This is the schedule, so they know it's actionable, it's credible, and it's immediate. I have to do that. Also, I want to do a video, like a 2-minute video. Hey, like I'm sending you all this stuff. I'm Anthony, this is Rhino. These are everyone involved. I want you to know that I'm a real person. This is what we can do for you. Let's get going. I think that's important. What else? Oh, so I met with my tech team yesterday about the Rhino bot. So we had to get approval from OpenAI to, like, we already have access to their API, but you have to like let them know where the API is going. So because we're working with Microsoft with their language processing unit, Lewis, that's their name, Lewis, and through cognitive services of Azure, to go ahead and back it up by OpenAI ChatGPT-4, which we're one of the few that have access to, we just need permission to do that. In which case we got it, thank God. Now we have to code the bot to act as, meaning I have to code the bot and say, listen, this is who you are, this is who you're gonna act as, this is all of your information. If anyone says this, this is what you're going to do, this is your goal. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? In which case then I gotta test it. And then once we get it, we pull that API, put it into the bot, and the bot, which already has 822 Q&As uploaded for everything RHINOBUX, now it has the ability to talk to someone. And when someone says, hey, listen, I'm not here for RHINOBUX, I'm here for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, tell me the recipe. The bot doesn't know the recipe, it just knows RHINOBUX. But the backup, which is ChatGPT, will know, well, yeah, duh, this is the best recipe in the world, but you know what makes it even better? When you're making a lot of money with RHINOBUX, can we get you back involved? It's always going to bring it back, but in a conversational and fun way. So that's going. And that will be done by Thursday next week, because that's kind of when we're having everything done by. Also, Whisper on the search engine is, well, it's in testing, right? It's on our staging site, but it is completed for Edge and Chrome. Safari is being a bit of a nuisance, like Apple always is. So we're doing workarounds. And for those that are new, what Whisper is, it is from OpenAI, which we have access to, again, ChatGPT-4, but the API access, that allows you to convert text, convert words to text, voice to text. In which case we've taken that and then processed it with a I don't know, right? So you're able to talk, and then it goes into ChatGPT 4, it then sends it, and then it gives you the response back, meaning you can go like this. Hey, what year was Michael Jordan born? Oh, cool, okay. So if you have Siri or Alexa, imagine that without the voice reading it back to you, because we don't have that access, not yet, but being able to talk into it and having ChatGPT 4 giving you the result, which obviously is the best result on the market. That will be done by Thursday as well. So that's kind of everything, I think. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I have to do over here. What I'm going to really do a push for is everyone that's on this call, everyone that's part of Rhino, you're going to participate in next Thursday's launch event. So all of the, and I sent this to you yesterday, right? So I'm going to do it again and again and again. This is the moment where everyone could really make a big difference. So I want to go ahead and give you all the tools that you need, in which case you can simply just copy and paste things and send them out, do them in your own email sequences, send them to your friends, do whatever. But if all of us can go ahead and grow the audience together, now we have something. All right, so let me just go into this sheet and kind of just show you some stuff. It's 10:16, I'll be out by 10:21, Travis. All right, let me do share screen. All right, join meeting, I'm already there. Leave me alone, hide floating menu, okay. Where am I? Okay, cool. So let's just punch it in, rhinobux.com. So now this is the lander page that's in the emails. It's the sales page by all intents and purposes. Oh, and Brooks, I just realized you wrote something. I didn't read it yet. I will before we get off this call. We went ahead and updated the copy a little bit. We have the video that describes what it is. It's about a minute and a half. Has a countdown when you receive it, an hour to participate in the $100 crypto gift in 60 days. Obviously, my countdown has ended. I'm interested, great. Well, it's going to bring you to the checkout page, right? And it has the multi one where you can pick whatever one you want. But let's say, I'm not there yet. RHINOBUX price, like let's see where this thing is. Okay, it's at 202.41. All right, so I know what price I'm buying it at. All right, cool. RHINOBUX balance sheet, what is this? Now this is what I was telling you. Okay. So this is the super duper duper balance sheet. So days, RHINOBUX, the coin balance, like what's available, how much is floating in the market, how many accounts there are, the average weekly per account, the average demand, sell, what the daily volume is, what the price is. This is the algorithm. Composite weighted 45-day average versus lifetime correlations. Wait till I show you that. Liquidity pool, NASDAQ prices, Bitcoin prices. You might be saying to yourself, Anthony, I don't see anything. Well, we went public on October 17th. So once we get to October 17th, then you see the correlations and we'll scroll down. And it's a little bit of the same, right? So if you take an array of the lifetime while public of Rhino retirement, of the float of RHINOBUX, against the price of RHINOBUX, you would get a 65% correlation. That when this number goes up, 65% of the time, RHINOBUX goes up. With the accounts, 95% of the time. Now, the average weekly amount, it has a negative correlation. When this goes up, RHINOBUX goes down, and that has a 48% correlation. The daily volume has a negative 20 point, actually, that's a positive number. I had it green still. I had it red still. Okay. So that has a positive 25% correlation that as the daily volume increases, so does the price of the coin. And that makes sense, right? So more people are participating, there's more trust in the market, there's more people in the market. Liquidity pool, that's actually a positive number as well. That's actually really positive. Let's make that dark green too, to show that it's super duper strong, right? But we want to be able to read it. Okay. Positive number. And then NASDAQ is 20% correlation and Bitcoin's 13% correlation. Now you would take all of these, and first you would have to find the average Rhino retirement, RHINOBUX balance, right? at the same time, what was the average RHINOBUX price? So now you have a comparison. When this is averaging this price, this is averaging this price. From there, you can then take the percentiles and the correlations and do the mathematics accordingly by making the assumption of what the next day is. So for instance, if I say, okay, I don't know anything at all about RHINOBUX, but I can tell you that the accounts went up 10 accounts tomorrow. Can you tell me, did RHINOBUX go up or not? Well, you could reasonably be certain it went up because that's a 95% correlation. Now, how much did it go up? Well, that's the correlation, but what percentage of this is the percentage of price of RHINOBUX? So when you take this number and divide it into the total number of 244, you get a percentage, and it's roughly probably what, like 30%, 32%, whatever the case may be. So you can then say, all right, there's a 95% chance that RHINOBUX went up, and whatever percentage it went up, 37% of that percentage is the percentage that the accounts went up. Well, 37% doesn't really give you a big number. What's the other 63% of it? And that's what all the other variables are. So I know that was confusing, but I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. And to that point, I do have the documents that actually offer the explanations. But if you go ahead and pull this algorithm that we made, it's really like, there's a lot going on here, like a lot. But what it allows us to see is that if we're able to assume these variables, in which case, as everyone knows, every day we input the new numbers, so this will constantly be calculated in real time, but to make the assumption of what it looks like going forward, you have to agree on these assumptions. If you agree on these assumptions, this is a lock, and not to be confused with guarantee, but if all of this is correct, then this is like 99% going to be spot on. So you have to now say, how do we get these to be correct? So you're able to go ahead and make it a little bit easier by identifying what you need to do. Now, of course, the big number in the room is we've had 350 kind of like for a pretty long time, right? 340, 350. And now all of a sudden we're predicting 10,000 by the end of next week. Like that's a gigantic number. Well, this is going to be the influencer program and we'll see what comes of it, right? Like we'll do that math. But when you see 10,000, you see, well, the coin, it's only like $7, actually went down to 6, 5, now it rebounds. Well, again, there's a 45-day average lag on it because it's a moving average. But secondly, what you'll see is that there's liquidity pool, how much money is in the liquidity pool and how much Rhino's in the liquidity pool. So as this number increases, there's a lot more money coming into Rhino. But as that money comes in, it's not going to just the coin. Again, we need to know that the coin is the second most important metric. Yes, it looks good. It's like you meet a really pretty person that is a really, really bad person. Well, at some point their looks wear off and you're stuck with the really bad person. That's the same exact thing. This is the looks. This is the personality. Because we can go ahead and financially engineer a $100 coin tomorrow. It wouldn't be difficult. But we'd have to go ahead and deplete all of this, and you would have a whole bunch of coin at $100, and guess what? You'd be able to sell like 10 of them before the market crash. So you need to have a functional, fortified market. So what we have is the liquidity pool, the market cap, and the Rhino. But here's how this works. So excess demand. So we have an average amount of people that are going to be buying, subtract the average amount of people that are going to be selling, you have remaining money. And we've done a whole pilot program. We know what these numbers are because again, look at what we're looking at. We know what the numbers are. So we can predict what the excess demand is. In having excess demand, we can then say, okay, well, we can let our audience know that we're going to financially engineer this coin to go up, say 10 cents a day. And that will allow people to feel confident in getting in, but also it'll really diminish their selling behavior because they know that this is the case. How do they know this is the case? Because if this is the excess, this is the amount that it would take to equal that price increase. Well, how do you get that number, right? Well, so you got to take a look at the liquidity pool. So this number at 315 means the whole thing's worth 270,000. This at 305 means the whole thing's worth 254,000, which means we're going to need $16,000 worth of buying to get it to where it needs to go. So we have amount to, well, no, divided by 2 because the coin and, I'm sorry, so the coin, when you buy it with cash, it also increases the value of the coin, and the liquidity pool is half the coin, so it works on both ends. So half of that is $7,869. Great. Well, we have 24,000. All we need is 7,800. Can we go ahead and not guarantee, we never use that word, but can we manufacture this price for the next day and it can be real? Well, the answer is yes, right? Well, when you subtract these two numbers, you still have almost $17,000 left. What happens with this money? Well, this money then gets divided and goes into adding supply into the liquidity pool in terms of pushing Rhino into it. Now, what everyone knows is the absolute goal is to go ahead and deplete the total 1 billion coin. Well, the way you do that is we have the billion in our coffers, we push it into the liquidity pool. Now, obviously, when you have, say, $10 in a pool and say there's 10 coins, well, each coin's worth $1, right? Well, if you have $10 and you have 10 coins and you push another 10 coins in, now you have 20 coins. Each coin's worth 50 cents. So when you push coins in, you go ahead and lower the value of the remaining coin. But if you have the cash, well, then you push the cash in, and then subsequently, the value of the corresponding coin to equal that price gets pushed in as well. So as you can see, there's 16,964 in cash, but look at the increase in the coin. It's only, what, 3,800, something like that, because that's what that times that would equal. So we have that all the way down. Now, the point of these accounts is it allows you to see what these numbers can be, because this is where we're able to start distributing coin back to the investors that got in at the angel rounds. This is where all the coin that we offered in terms of reward comes back to people. But this is the coin that allows everyone to functionally, hey, I bought in at $1, I could sell at $3, I have 1,000, I want to sell 10,000, I want to sell 100,000. We want people to be able to sell and buy orders of thousands at a time, not hundreds at a time. This is where that all comes from. So if we're able to know this number, or we're able to know all of these numbers based on this number, which is the most important, it's 95%. Well, then if we go to someone and say, hey, listen, this is our mission statement, this is our value proposition, this is how we're going to compensate you, this is how the turnkey operation works, and you're going to be able to redeem your compensation within a month, and it's all there. As you can see, you'll be able to redeem it. Does that person say yes or no if they're in the business of making money off their likeness while doing good morally and ethically? Well, we think the answer is yes. Even more so if you're able to approach an individual that lives a lifestyle that you might not agree with, that's a little sordid, and maybe they were pushed to be on a platform that kind of exposes them and degrades them, but allows them to make a lot of money. That has a certain timeline as well. Is this a solution for them? I think the answer is yes. So I think this works as a solution for everyone, the economics of it. And we're proud, well, not proud, pride goeth before the fall, but we're happy, we're pleased to be able to say that we're finally done with the numbers, in which case we have every calculation possible. So we're we can show this, we can present this, and anyone that sees it should be reasonably certain that that's okay. What did I just do? All right, I'm stopping the share. What I want to say now is when we talk about value proposition and moral and ethical stuff, for those that are new, we're talking Rhino Streets, Rhino Hub, we're talking RHINOBUX, but RHINOBUX not being the representative of, crazy market capitalism. This is a crazy crypto company and they found a way to get everyone in, blah, blah, blah. No, it's been built so that it's a subscription agreement, in which case the price never crashes because there's always a confluence of money that is scheduled to come in on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and everyone has trust in the market. It's completely automated, everything's done for you. So the economics are sound and allow people to unite and be participants and make money together. Rhino Street is the crown jewel. We own a search engine. It is a localized search engine that is global, that identifies user location, filters results to within a 20-mile radius, no marketing, no ad spend, no data tracking, and completely protects local community by offering a force field around them where they can search each other safely. That's really cool. Rhino Hub, which I do think will probably open up to various influencers and say, would you like to be part of this platform? Is a completely free membership site that allows you to go ahead and attain curriculum and certifications for immediate job placement for jobs that are offering over 100,000 a year in remote locations and has over 10 to 15,000 listings right now that you can apply for. We went ahead and went through one of them, recorded the whole thing, and walk everyone through step by step. These are the things that if you could go ahead and protect the local community, put money in people's pockets, keep the money there, allow them to grow, allow them to attain higher learning, attain better careers, better jobs, and all the while be connected with each other, welcome to Rhino. So there's a lot of levers, but we're very close, and it requires me doing the outreach part, which for those that don't know me, my entire career has been Wall Street and stuff like that. So when it comes to doing outreach and talking to people, everyone here will say the same thing. I've been on the phone with Ant. I like it. I'm still here, right? Of course, the people that would disagree are not here to disagree because by the function of them not liking me. So I can say that 100% of people in this room agree with me, which is totally cool and totally manufactured. Let me see what Brooke wrote, and I see I have a couple after that. I still think that inviting influencers to a think tank on for Rhino marketing would interest them because they're influencers and they like to influence. Yeah, so I agree with you. I think the reason we're moving in such a gone in 60 seconds speed is that I find that you can have analysis by paralysis. And I don't mean to say a cute sentence to kind of like to disagree with you. I do think it is functional that people, if given the opportunity to think something through, literally just think themselves into like an early retirement. I really have seen more times than not, people will just spend time thinking. But the problem is you don't actually know the answers until you actually do it. So I do believe, although I do agree with you, I think the results end up being better if you can do all the thinking for someone, show them what your logic is, show them the probable outcome, show them what they need to do, how it affects them, and what they can expect and how they can track it. And as long as they agree with the outcome and they're reasonably certain of the process, they'll allow you to lead, which actually frees them up to be to add commentary. Like for instance, if Brooks, if you and I are going on a date and you say, Anthony, listen to me, I got the best steakhouse, I'm taking you to it, don't even worry about a thing. Well, I'm not worried about a thing. I have no choice of where I'm going. It's already done. So while you're driving me, because Brooks, I'm sure you're a good date and you would pick me up and you would open the door for me, I have time to think about conversation. I have time to think about something funny. I have time to think about your car. I have time, when we get to the place, I have time to inspect the walls, take a look at the bathroom while you're sitting there saying, oh my God, I hope this steak is really good. I really put my neck out there. So I do think having the ability to be given permission to lead actually allows the other person to freely think. So I agree with you. I think I'm just going about it differently. The liquidity pool number is the most important. Yes. Thanks, Brian. Oh, Brian, I did look at the scores. Yankees won and Braves won. Brooks, I have to leave. Oh man, I just gave a full explanation. I hope he checks it out later. You should freeze the top two rows of the oh, you're right. Thank you, Maurice. I froze the top row, but not this. Maurice is really one of those people that whenever he says something, it's something that changes things. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever seen The Social Network, the Mark Zuckerberg movie about him coming to Facebook and how he did it, all the rest of it. There's a scene where he meets Justin Timberlake, which is, I forgot his name, but he's Justin Timberlake, but I forgot the character he's playing. And they go out for lunch and they're having this really, really fun time. And then as he's walking away, they don't talk anything about business. And Justin Timberlake turns around and goes, you should change the name to Facebook from thefacebook.com. It's cleaner, and just walks away. And that's the one sentence he said. And of course it changed things. So in the highest form of compliment, that is Maurice. All right, love everyone. Let me get going. Got a lot to do, Maurice. Of course, my pleasure. And I will tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see everyone tomorrow. Bye.